Hi everybody, welcome to Nature Boy. This is a live show. We just saw what's called a pileated woodpecker. They live in these woods. This is northern Ontario, Canada. So if you picture Ontario on a map, and you notice where it kind of bottlenecks at the north a little bit with squeezes, because you got the lakes to the left, and then you got the Hudson Bay to the north, well, a little bit to the right, but up. In that neck is where I am. And the forests over here are coniferous and deciduous. So you've got both. You've got your birch trees, your oak trees, you've got your spruce, you've got your just your small firs. I'm not sure what they're called exactly, but anyways, I know what it is in French, unfortunately. So today we're just going for a walk to my usual spot, which is the beaver area. And hopefully we'll run into a bear or a beaver. Oh my, something. I've taken a break from trying to find a job somewhere, and now I'm going to take you on a walk with me to the forest. Hi, welcome to the live. I hope you're enjoying it. Right now there's not much happening, but we're hoping to run into a bear. I'm going to go to a beaver pond, so we're going to hopefully be able to see some of the beavers there. This is actually in the wild. This is not a conservation or anything. This is a trail that runs behind this town. This very small town. It's actually quite beautiful here. If you live in a city and you ever think of going out here, I'll tell you what you'll find. You'll find a slower pace. In other words, things move a little bit slower than in a city. Things are not on demand here. Things are more, you get it ahead of time for later. A lot of preparation. I just heard something jump in the water, so I'm guessing that's a duck. Because what they do is they'll sit on the edge of the waters where it's nice and cool. And then when they hear footsteps, they can flap their wings and get onto the lake or the rivers, because they know, as humans, we don't normally chase in the water. And I don't see myself putting a knife in my mouth and jumping and trying to chase a duck, because no offense, I'll lose. Now, this is an area where there's been this big bird. You hear this opening here. And he perches up on the wood over there. And he flies off. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a heron, because the wingspan is about, I'd put the wingspan about 4 to 6 feet from tip to tip. And the body's probably about 3 feet long. So it's a pretty big bird. Maybe I'm off on my measurements, but it's a pretty big bird. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. And if you're not, well, just relax, sit back, forget the day even happened, and move on to the next one. You're not sure how to do that, and you're stuck in your thoughts. Do something that's mind-numbing for a bit, like play a game or do a puzzle or watch a program. Because what you need to do is just reset your system, reboot. So if you live in the city, or if you live in a busy town where you work all the time, or even if you work in a small town and you're constantly working, you don't really get the chance to go out, on your weekend, make it a point to go somewhere in the middle of the woods. Well, not in the middle of the woods, but in a conservation area or somewhere where it's kind of safe. Familiar spot, so to speak. And then just go for a walk and reset, recharge. Right now, the only thing I'm using my phone for this live, normally when I go on these walks, and I take my phone, but I take it for the music only. And most times I won't even listen to the music, because the sounds of nature are absolutely amazing. Well, hope you enjoy this. I'm going to be trying to do this every day consistently, but it hasn't been the case, because quite frankly, this is all you would see every day. Just this. Nothing really exciting. So I'm kind of saving the lives for when there is an animal. Like that woodpecker back there was kind of neat. I mean, it's a pretty big bird, right? The pileated woodpecker is one of the hardest working birds out there. It just builds nests And the worst part is sometimes it will build a nest or it will build a hole. And we're not talking about the pileated here. We're talking about the other, I think it's called a Douglas woodpecker. And basically what it does, it's a tiny woodpecker. It builds his nest. But here's the problem. The bird is small and squirrels are pretty big. So sometimes the bird will build the nest, but the inhabitant will end up being a squirrel. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. You know, most of them will fight off squirrels. But. So here it is. This is the beaver pond. And now, as you can see, the islands of reeds, like right here, see this thing right here? That's an island of reeds, and it just floats. And today we're lucky because this is all open. Yesterday, all the reeds were over here, so we can see the nice little pond here. It's like a mini lake or a pond. I'm not sure what to call it. And yesterday when I walked here, there was a snake, probably about 2 feet long. It wasn't that long, maybe 1.5 feet long. It was pretty thick. It looked like your regular garden hose, so that kind of variety. Well, I'm wishing you the best of days today. I'm hoping that everything you want, you'll find. If you've lost something, I'm putting good karma that you find it. See, this is a path that the beaver will come up here, walk here, walk all the way across and into this little hole. Why? Because on this side is a faster river. It's a very flowy river. It's a moving river, so it's very, very big. As you can see, it's pretty big. And what they do is they actually go into this little enclave, this little inlet. You can't see it, but there's an inlet right here. And so basically there's sort of like a mini island. You can only see it in the winter because in the winter it freezes and the water goes down a tiny bit. And when it goes down, you can see the island pronounced. And with the leaves out of the way, all the leaves are dead. You can see the island. Now, if I run into anything, I will stop, pause, and show it to you. Now, normally what I do on these walks is I go through a thought process of, you know, what I need to do in the next stages of my life, that sort of thing. You know, you kind of clear your thoughts, get them out of the way. And remember, there are things that you cannot change. They will just be with the way they are. So relax and go for a walk. The topic of discussion today in my head that I'm actually going over is it hard to get a job out there? I mean, it absolutely is. The problem is there are jobs that you can get where you can get minimum wage. And here in Ontario, minimum wage is $15 and some odd cents, I think. Now, the cost of living in Ontario is actually really high. The average home price on TV, they'll tell you it's $750,000, but I haven't seen one under $900,000 out here, and this is a small town. The ones that sell for under $900,000 here are the ones that are broken down, where they're basically uninhabitable. I can't remember what the term is, but anyways, I've seen one with a notice on the door. It actually said, I can't remember what it was, but it just means you can't live there. So the cost of living here is actually really high. If you go buy milk, it's about $7 to $8 for 4 liters. Yeah, we measures in centimeters, liters. We use the metric system here. To give you an idea, the nearest city to me is Toronto. And that's actually 4.5 hours south of me. So to get there, it's quite the drive. And I do it actually every other weekend. It's not too bad. Got some stuff to do down there. So I encourage you, if you need a reset or reboot, just go in the wilderness. Don't go apple picking. Don't go berry picking, because it just feels like work. All right, just no work. All right, don't go out and do that stuff. You'll feel good. Yeah, you'll love it. Oh, it's a great experience. But your system won't be reset. You'll actually be still in that fast-paced environment. No, what I recommend is you literally do what I'm doing, except the streaming part of it, you know, the live of it. No cell phone, just put it in your pocket, shut it down. I mean, like, no phone calls. I literally walk let's say 1 kilometer in miles. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. It's like 0.8 miles, maybe 0.6. I don't even know. The conversion is 1.6 to a kilometer. So 1.6 kilometers to a mile. So now for those of you that are just watching this right now, not as a live, but as a posted video, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate you. If you could subscribe and leave me a comment, see where you want me to go next. I'm planning in November, when it starts to snow here. Actually, it'll probably start snowing in October, but when the snow settled and we have snow on the ground, I'm hoping to do a 24-hour walking challenge. So basically, all I'm going to be carrying is 2 bottles of water, maybe 3, maybe 4, who knows. Well, basically, I'll have 1 backpack, and that's all. Anything I can carry, I put in the backpack. I'll dress up warm, and during the night, I'll select a path that I'm very familiar with. That's not too dangerous, and I'll do it. 24 hours straight of walking. And then once the walk is complete, I'll go home, take a nap, and then resume my day. I don't sleep much these days. I take naps. It's actually relaxing. Now, where I'm taking you is where I've seen a deer cross the road. 2 bears cross the road. So they've been here. It's the season for them to get fat, to eat as much as possible, because the bears will hibernate. So they'll enter a stage of deep sleep for 6 to 8 months, because the winters last long here. Most bears here probably go into their nice little dens, and they probably go there and stay there for, they'll probably go in around December, and they'll stay there till March, April, sometimes May. And when they come out, they're starving. You look at videos of grizzly bears coming out, it's actually quite hilarious, because their fur goes white, because there's no circulation, right? Because when they go into this deep sleep, it's actually their heart pumps slower. There's still blood flowing in their system, but it's going so slow. And then eventually, when the heat starts to rise and they start waking up, then the blood flow will rise. It's the most amazing thing. Do you imagine if you live like a bear? 6 months of the year you're sleeping? That'd be crazy, eh? It would make you want to stay up the whole day, all night for like 6 months. You'd feel like you'd missed out. Imagine the world shut down for 6 months. That'd be insane, eh? But being humans, we probably figured out a way to keep ourselves awake and to change our systems and to adapt. Now I'm walking close. I'm going to take you to a river rapids, which is basically the end of the line. And to me, this is I think it's a 1 kilometer path that I'm doing. So on the way back, it'll be 2 kilometers. So you're looking at about 1.25 miles, 1.1 miles actually, somewhere in there. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear the water rushing. I absolutely love that, because I know I'm close. If I was a blind person, this is what I'd be listening for, to know that the rapids are there. Like, just close your eyes and listen for a second. You can hear it as we get nearer. You're probably not going to hear my voice now, so I'll be quiet for a minute, just so you can watch this beautiful rapids. If you go to my channel, you can see what it was like during the winter thaw, the spring thaw. It was crazy here. Here we go. So where I was standing, there used to be a bridge. I don't know if you can see the ledge right there. And the bridge used to cross here. And this road would actually take you all the way to Toronto. It used to be a wood lumber mine. and very like lots of trains. It's like train stations everywhere. So the train was very, very popular out here. And this was, we're talking about back like the 1800s, 1900s. But for this specifically, it was the 1900s. When they developed this town, they put in, the Canadian government put in a no tax residency for a bit. So basically, if you got a plot of land, you didn't have to pay taxes to Her Majesty the Queen. You could just own it freehold as is, no tax. So that really incentive, it was an incentive for people to move up here and to take on jobs because there were lots of them. But they weren't like very good jobs. Well, they were good in terms of the pay, but they weren't good in terms of the working conditions. Imagine working in a mine when you didn't have those 3M masks, where basically what you wore was what they gave you. And then most of the time you didn't wear a mask. You just went in. A lot of people got coal lungs from doing coal mining. But out here, it was mainly iron pyrite. So iron. And there was also copper. So lots of ores out here. There was quartz, lots of nice stones too. So this part of the town was actually built on a meteorite. This town was built on a meteorite that landed here ages ago. The reason they determined that is when they started doing the mining, they realized that the ores that were there were different. Some of them were different. Like there was a large deposit of iron, huge deposit of nickel, huge. Hence, the nickel capital of the world was right here. And when you walk on these walks, when you're going around, you want to listen for branches moving. And right now it's windy, so it's very hard to tell. You're also listening for sudden movements, like a jerking sound. When you hear that, there's two possibilities. If it's a low sound, you're looking at a snake or a bird. If it's something really stronger, bigger, it's a bear or a deer. The only one that you will not hear, or if you hear, you're lucky, are coyotes and wolves. They have a way of moving stealthily, quietly. You won't know that there is a wolf or a coyote until you either accidentally run into one, which is a miracle, or until they surround you. So that's the idea. So if you come out, don't come out at night. They are most active at night. I know this because when I come out at night, I walk the safe path on the lakeshore, which is this nice little road where the town is. And I like to just listen. And you can hear them howling. You can hear the wolves howling, and you can hear the coyotes crying. So there's two groups here. And that's not a good thing, because when it becomes a territorial war, then you're going to hear a lot of fights, a lot of animal fights. You can imagine what a dog sounds like when it barks and fights. That's exactly what it sounds like. But the coyotes and the wolves usually try to keep 10 to 20 kilometers apart from each other. And they usually occupy a specific area. It's the way they live. They occupy a certain area because it's either abundant in food or it's not. If it's not, then they move on. And that's when territorial battles begin. Because imagine if you own a piece of land. Sorry, I just heard a branch cracking here. Oh no, it's just the leaves are falling. See? Look at that leaf. Falling leaf. Yeah, leaves are falling everywhere because it is the fall. Officially, today is the first day of fall. So, hence, when I play Fortnite, my character will switch from being Simon Birch, the regular Birch character, to now the Fall Guy. Which I think that's kind of cool. Call it the Fall Guy. That's actually pretty cool. Anyways, going back to working and trying to find work. Like I was saying, minimum wage is $15 an hour. To have a healthy, and I mean dental plan, vision plan, your health is number one type of thing. To get that, you need a job that pays you a minimum of $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Up here where I'm living, 40 to 50 could cut it, but you wouldn't be able to really enjoy yourself. You'd just basically be living paycheck to paycheck. So 70,000, 60, 70 is the range. The reason I say that is because once you get taxed on I'll say, let's go to 60 or 70,000. Let's say 60,000. The tax on 60,000 is about 20,000. So you'll be left with 40,000, correct? And then after that, you have your other fees to pay, because why not? The government really supports people. Anyways, you know what? I'm going to get out of the conversation. It's making me stressed out. I'm just going to enjoy the nice walk here. Hope you enjoyed this walk. I'll come back tomorrow and do another one, because why not? I don't care if I don't see anything. Hopefully today we saw a pileated woodpecker, so that was something. And now there are people ahead of me, and I don't want to film them because I don't have the permission. So I will leave you here, and I will see you tomorrow. And if I see something along the road, I will record it. I will post it, and eventually I'm going to make a funny Fortnite videos with all sorts of animals that I've run into. Hope you enjoy it. Take care.